The Pilgrim Studios production, My Big Fat Fabulous Life, or MBFFL, first aired on TLC in January 2015. The show follows Whitney Thor, known for her viral fat girl dancing videos, which have been seen millions of times across the globe, and documents the ups and downs in her personal and professional life.
Following the death of Whitney Thor's mom, Babs, her dad Glenn has taken a seat front and center on My Big Fat Fabulous Life. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel My Big Fat Fabulous Life. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. However, many fans aren't pleased with how she is treating her father on camera. Continue reading to see why viewers are disgusted with how Whitney Thor is acting. Whitney tells her dad he has big shoes to fill. In early September, Whitney talked with people about her dad taking a more prominent role in the show. I've always said that my mom was the star of the show. This was all just really a vehicle for her to be brought to the world, she told people. And now that she's gone, I told Dad, you're going to have big shoes to fill. And I think he actually did. Throughout the conversation, Whitney talked about how her dad brings a new brand of funny to My Big Fat Fabulous Life. She also mentioned that he is no longer Glenn Thor. They rebranded him as GT, and he's an entirely new man, she said. Whitney Thor has made some changes in her personal life as well. Typically, she has stayed away from haters on the internet, but she says she is taking a new approach now. Rather than blocking and deleting internet bullies, Whitney has decided that she's going to respond. According to her, it feels good to stick up for herself, and she's been having some fun with it. From Whitney's perspective, there have been nothing but positive changes on the show and in her life. Fans are seeing something entirely different though. Why fans are disgusted with Whitney Thor? My Big Fat Fabulous Life fans took to Reddit to discuss some of Whitney's disturbing behavior recently. The Redditor started the conversation by posing a question. Does anyone else get this weird aggressive energy from Whitney's remarks to her dad for father a child and putting her up for adoption? They went on to say that it feels like the production company is exploiting this. It's highly inappropriate in relation to Babs' recent death. One person commented, "It feels like a sort of macabre celebration. Aha, now that she's out of the way, we can exploit this other thing she never would have wanted aired out for all of bored America to see." Another Redditor agreed, saying that they doubted that the Thors would be going to meet the other family if Babs was still alive. Exploitation exactly. It all seems so sketchy. And of course the new family is all in. Another person weighed in. Viewers seem to agree that the situation is cringe at best and exploitation at worst. What do you think of how Whitney Thor and Glenn are handling these long-lost family members? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Whitney Thor had always been a polarizing figure in the world of reality television. As the star of My Big Fat Fabulous Life, she had garnered both adoration and criticism for her larger-than-life personality and unapologetic embrace of her body. But as the show entered its latest season, fans found themselves increasingly disillusioned by Whitney's treatment of her father, Glenn. Glenn Thor had always been a pillar of strength and support for Whitney, standing by her side through thick and thin. But as tensions between father and daughter reached a boiling point, fans couldn't help but feel a sense of disgust at Whitney's behavior towards the man who had always been there for her. Chapter 2: A Fractured Relationship. The cracks in Whitney and Glenn's relationship had been forming for some time, but it wasn't until the latest season of My Big Fat Fabulous Life that fans began to see just how strained their bond had become. From petty arguments to hurtful remarks, Whitney's treatment of her father left viewers shocked and dismayed. At the heart of their conflict was Whitney's refusal to acknowledge Glenn's concerns about her health and well-being. Despite his best efforts to encourage her to adopt healthier habits, Whitney pushed back against his advice, insisting that she knew what was best for herself. But as Glenn watched his daughter's health deteriorate before his eyes, he couldn't help but feel helpless and frustrated. And as tensions between father and daughter reached a breaking point, fans found themselves taking sides in the increasingly bitter feud. Chapter 3: Betrayal and Heartbreak. As the season progressed, fans watched in horror as Whitney's treatment of her father took a dark turn. From cruel insults to outright betrayal, Whitney's behavior left viewers questioning whether she truly cared about her father's well-being at all. One particularly gut-wrenching moment came when Whitney lashed out at Glenn during a family dinner, accusing him of trying to control her life and belittling his concerns about her health. As Glenn sat in stunned silence, his heart breaking with each hurtful word, fans couldn't help but feel a sense of outrage at Whitney's callousness. But perhaps the most heartbreaking moment of all came when Glenn finally reached his breaking point and confronted Whitney about her behavior. With tears in his eyes, he pleaded with her to see reason and to recognize the pain she was causing him with her thoughtless actions. But as Whitney stared back at her father with cold indifference, fans knew that their relationship might never be the same again. Chapter 4: Redemption and Forgiveness. In the aftermath of their explosive confrontation, Whitney and Glenn found themselves at a crossroads. With their relationship hanging in the balance, both father and daughter were forced to confront the deep-seated issues that had driven them apart. For Whitney, it was a wake-up call to reevaluate her priorities and to recognize the impact of her actions on those she loved. As she reflected on her behavior towards her father, she realized the pain and heartache she had caused him and vowed to do better. And for Glenn, it was a moment of reckoning as he grappled with his own feelings of hurt and betrayal. Despite his anger towards his daughter, he knew that deep down, he still loved her and longed for reconciliation. Slowly but surely, father and daughter began to rebuild the fractured bonds that had once held them together. Through tears and apologies, they found solace in each other's forgiveness and understanding, realizing that their love for one another was stronger than any disagreement or argument. Chapter 5: A New Beginning. As the dust settled on their tumultuous journey, Whitney and Glenn emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. Though their relationship had been tested in ways they never imagined, they knew that they had come out the other side with a deeper appreciation for one another and a renewed commitment to their bond as father and daughter. And as fans watched their reconciliation unfold on the latest season of My Big Fat Fabulous Life, they couldn't help but feel a sense of hope and optimism for the future. For in the end, it wasn't the conflicts or disagreements that defined Whitney and Glenn's relationship. It was their ability to overcome them and emerge stronger together. Epilogue: A Lesson Learned. As Whitney Way Thor looked back on her tumultuous journey with her father, she couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the lessons they had learned along the way. Through their struggles and conflicts, they had discovered the true meaning of love and forgiveness, and had emerged stronger and more resilient because of it. And as she hugged her father tight, knowing that their bond was stronger than ever, Whitney knew that she would never take their relationship for granted again. For in the end, it was the love of family that mattered most, and she was grateful to have her father by her side through it all.